Have you noticed how Florida's housing market has really cooled down lately? It's quite a change from that red hot pandemic market we saw a couple of years back. By early 2025, average home values in Florida had actually dropped about 1 to 2% compared to the previous year. Most local markets are seeing price slips after years of explosive growth. So, what's going on? Well, it's actually a mix of several factors. The economy's changing, supply and demand are shifting, mortgage rates are way up, insurance costs are going through the roof, and even migration patterns are evolving. Let's break it down a bit. If you look at the data, you can really see the shift. By February 2025, Florida home values were down 1.8% from the previous year, according to Zillow. Home sales dropped about 11% compared to last winter, while available inventory jumped around 17%. Homes are sitting on the market much longer now, a median of about 51 days before going pending, which is way up from before. About 1 in 4 sellers are cutting their prices just to attract buyers. The price drops aren't the same everywhere, though. Some areas that were booming during the pandemic are seeing bigger corrections. For example, condo values in Punta Gorda are down about 11.4% year over year, while North Port condos fell about 8.9%. Even for single family homes, about 2/3 of the markets have seen price drops. Miami? That market's holding up better than most, even posting slightly gains in single family home values, up 3% year on year. The biggest drops are concentrated in mid-sized markets on Florida's Gulf Coast and interior. Now let's talk about those mortgage rates. They've been more than doubled over the past years. By mid-2024, typical Florida mortgage rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage hit about 7%, up from about 3% in 2021. That's hundreds of dollars more in monthly payments for the same priced home. No wonder so many buyers are getting priced out of the market. At the same time, inflation has been running hot, near 4% in 2024. So everyday costs are up too. Remember during the pandemic when low rates and stimulus money let people bid up home prices? Well, now with high interest rates, those economic tailwinds are fading. Buyers are much more price sensitive. And let's not forget, Florida home prices soared 51% from March 2020 to June 2022. That's faster than the national average. With the Fed tightening monetary policy through 2023, we're seeing a natural market correction. The balance between supply and demand has completely flipped in Florida. The inventory of homes for sale has gone way up, ending that shortage that we saw during the pandemic. Some areas like Northport saw their inventory jump by a whopping 68% year over year. Meanwhile, fewer people are buying. Sales volumes dropped about 11% statewide. And remember those bidding wars where homes would sell in days? Now the median time on the market is about 53 days, one of the highest in the nation. In Cape Coral, homes are sitting over a month longer than last year. Home builders are feeling the pinch too. They're offering incentives and cutting prices on new homes to attract buyers. This puts pressure on existing home sellers who now have to compete with new home construction. In some markets like Northport and Tampa, nearly 40 to 43% of sellers have dropped their asking price. Here's a uniquely Florida problem. Insurance costs are absolutely skyrocketing. Florida's property insurance premiums have shot up by roughly 72% in the last 5 years. The state now has the highest average homeowners insurance in the country. When you include wind and flood coverage, it's even worse. These massive insurance bills are making homeownership much more expensive, especially near the coast. For many buyers, adding higher insurance costs on top of higher mortgage rates just makes homes unaffordable. Nearly 70% of Florida home buyers have seen their insurance costs jump recently, and about 12% were even dropped by their insurers as companies pulled out of the state. The increasing frequency of hurricanes and flooding is definitely weighing on buyer sentiment. Hurricane Ian in September of 2022 caused about $113 billion in damage. Southwest Florida alone got hit hard. Areas like Cape Coral, Punta Gorda saw lots of damaged houses that hit the market, increasing supply and pushing prices down. People are getting more cautious about buying in hurricane-prone areas. After each major storm, insurance claims drive premiums even higher, and some buyers are reconsidering Florida altogether. In 2024, many Florida condo owners also face huge special assessments and rising fees due to the new safety regulations after the Surfside collapse. All these added costs are putting downward pressure on prices, especially for condos in coastal high rises. Florida's population boom is slowing down, and that's affecting housing demand. During the pandemic, Florida saw a massive influx of new residents, with net domestic migration peaking at over 300,000 people in 2022. But in 2024, that number had dropped dramatically to around 64,000. The market now relies more on local buyers with local incomes, which are often more modest than those coastal transplants. This naturally puts downward pressure again on prices. There's also signs that some resident Florida migrants are having second thoughts. High housing costs and insurance woes are causing some homeowners to leave Florida or decide against moving there altogether. While Florida is still growing overall, about 275,000 new residents in 2024, the pace is definitely slowing. Now, not all Florida markets are cooling at the same rate. The biggest corrections are happening in southwest and west central Florida, the Gulf Coast areas, and some inland markets that saw extreme pandemic-era gains. The southwest Florida region, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, and Naples, is leading the decline, partly due to Hurricane Ian damage and sky-high insurance premiums. The Tampa Bay area is also cooling quickly, with listings up about 63% year over year. Miami stands out as more stable, seeing year-over-year price gains, really, in single-family homes. Demand there has remained strong, fueled by international buyers, corporate relocations, and wealth migration. Northern markets like Jacksonville and Tallahassee didn't overheat as much during the pandemic, so they're seeing smaller adjustments. Florida's housing market is going through a healthy correction after an unsustainable boom. The era of relentless price spikes has ended, and we're in a period of adjustment. Buyers are finding more options and even some price relief, though they must weigh higher ongoing costs like insurance. Sellers are facing a much more competitive market and may need to reset their price expectations. Looking ahead, Florida's market will likely remain highly regional. Areas with strong job growth and limited new supply may stabilize quickly, while those with oversupply or high climate risk could see longer price declines. Bottom line, even in a popular state like Florida, market cycles still apply. What goes up rapidly can come down just as fast. Understanding these underlying forces is key to navigating Florida's real estate landscape in the coming years.